Hiya, my name's Danny, welcome to my channel. It's literally been over 12 months since I've done a vlog of any kind. It's been an actual mental of a last 12 months and I didn't even know where to begin. I've had a lot of comments asking how I am, how my past operations have gone, so I'm really sorry that I've not replied. I got locked out of my YouTube channel, couldn't remember my password, and now I've got my password and I was going to do videos, and you know what life's like, it's always up and down, and if you deal with chronic pain then you definitely know that you go to plan something and chronic pain comes along and thinks, no, you ain't gonna do this. Oh, honestly, I'm trying to vlog and I've got this thing on this little tripod-y thing holding it, and I'm like a shaky mess because my balance is all over the place. So it's just annoying. And I don't know if I can turn it. I'm filming on my video at the minute. I'm not quite sure if I can turn it around, but I'll see if I can show you who I'm having to deal with today. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a dog out with us, and I've realised that she's going to want me to play ball, and I'm not going to be able to bend down to pick it up while doing this. So I'm going to try my best to kind of update you with everything. I might have to kind of walk around a bit just because I can't stand for too long, and kind of tell you if the lighting gets a bit funny, then that's why. I'm currently standing near a tree under the shade just to get some lighting, really, because all the lighting's really bad out here. Anyways, yeah, so going on from my last video, I kind of explained where I was at 12 months ago with my chronic pain, illness, and everything was settled. I'd been okay for a couple of years, and everything was fine. I had nothing really to report, really, that everything was going really well. My pain was under control, I wasn't on really strong meds anymore, and I hadn't had surgery for about 4 years, I think it was, and I was really good. I was working in a care home, which I really liked. I'd been there for about 2 years, and I had the most amazing work friends. It was just great. And then I decided I was going so well that I'd start that again. So when I started about 18, no, less than that, 16, I'd left school, finished my qualifications to become a childcare practitioner. I started that, and unfortunately, due to the anal chiari malformation, which is my illness, if you've not seen this channel before, I had to stop that because my balance was really bad. I was constantly in and out of hospital. It was just really unfair to carry on, and the jobs that I wasn't able to do, I was working with like the babies as well at the time, so I kind of wasn't able to fill out the duties, so I had to stop, which I was absolutely devastated. I blamed myself, I was really angry, and if you deal with chronic pain, then you know that anger comes along with it. It's not a nice feeling, but it's how you manage that anger is what the important thing is. Anyways, yeah, so that was on really. So I decided I was going to go back into childcare. I'd been really good, I'd done really well, and it was going amazing. So in January of this year, I joined a childcare. I became a childcare assistant. I had to do another qualification, but I was doing it, and I was in the process of doing it, and I was really enjoying it. Unfortunately, this is where things went horribly wrong. I could not have imagined this was ever going to happen, but it did. What was that? Okay, bees just flying past me. Anyways, where was I? Yes, anyways, I started in January, and everything was going well. And of course, everything went tits up, excuse my language, but it did. And unfortunately, all of a sudden, I couldn't hold my neck up anymore. I was really struggling, and I was really my balance was really, really poor at this point, but I was still able to walk. But I nearly went to my neurological hospital that I go to, which is at the Walton Centre in Liverpool, because I live about 3 hours away. I thought, well, this is totally pointless going all the way there for no apparent reason, when it's probably could be just a flare-up, which is, you know, as you probably know, that sometimes I do suffer with flare-ups. I decided to go to my local hospital bad mistake. I'm not going to name them just because, you know, it wasn't the hospital's fault as such. It was just that particular doctor, as I'm going to explain. I'm going to try and keep this as short and sweet, as simple as I can. It's a really long story, but I'm going to try and keep it to a minimal. So I went to my local hospital, and of course, if you deal with this condition or any kind of complicated chronic illness, they ain't got a blind clue what was going on. They didn't know what was happening, you know, what was going on. So, which I was expecting, to be honest. I was expecting at least a week's waiting time, but all in all, I was in hospitals for 3 months, and I'm not just in and out, I mean constantly inpatient type stuff. It was horrendous. Anyway, so I ended up going to, I couldn't have an MRI scan. The reason why I can't have an MRI scan is because I have a programmable shunt which has metal in it, so I couldn't go through the scanner which sometimes they have to like reset the shunt in order for me to have an MRI. So I ended up having to go to like the nearest local neurological centre. Again, I'm not going to name them. So I went there. So I was waiting a week to go to this hospital. I got there and I was waiting another week until I had the MRI. So I'd been waiting around for 2 weeks and I hadn't had any tests done at this point. I had the MRI scan. I then had to, they wouldn't contact my hospital, which I usually go to, because it was out of the area. They were complete and point blank refused. So they didn't have any scan to kind of compare it to. I then had to provide it from my own records. I'm not sure if that's even, you're allowed to do that, but I actually did that just so I could get some kind of answers. I don't know, I had hope that it would either get better by now because it'd been 2 weeks, and usually around about the 2 week mark is when things for me start to get better. So yeah, I keep forgetting what I'm going to say. Do you ever get that when you're halfway through a conversation and then totally lose what you're going to say? Start again. Okay, and yeah, so I had the scan and I gave them my, like, the scan I had from a couple of years ago, and they said that nothing had changed on this MRI scan and that it was just probably just a kind of flare up. But unfortunately, I was getting worse. I was still getting worse. At this point, I was barely able to walk to the bathroom. I wasn't good on stairs, so it wasn't safe for me to go home. So they didn't do any of the tests. I asked if I could wear... Excuse me, dog. What are you barking at? What is she... I don't know if you can see this, but it's a very old manky ball. Anyhow, how rude. Anyways, so I ended up having to go... Anyways, I had to go back to my local hospital because I was still unsafe. So I ended up going back to the local hospital. At this point, I'd been in there for 4 weeks, and all I had was an MRI scan. No one knew what was going on. They just said that everything was fine, and that I saw a neurologist, and they said that it was a psychological episode, and that had I been going through stress. But at this point, I hadn't actually gone through any stress. I do apologise. I hadn't gone through any stress, and I don't know, I didn't think it was that. Like, honestly, what is with this dog? Honestly, I'm going to throw the ball. Do apologise. 1 minute. I'm going to try and kick the ball. Okay, where's it? Find it. No, I was going to try and show you, and then, I don't know, I wasn't holding it. I'm going to kind of walk around because she's not dealing with this very well. So yeah, it kind of went on to... What was I talking about? This is really getting on my nerves. Yeah, they said it was a psychological thing. I didn't kind of believe that at that point. So I was at the local hospital, and they still didn't know what was going on. They sort of said a few things that it was to do with the CSF. I knew it wasn't the CSF. I said I really need to go to my hospital, but they wouldn't transfer me, and it was all really complicated. In the end, they ended up with my mum ended up making this massive fuss, which I'm really grateful for now. And I ended up they ended up speaking to the Walton Centre in Liverpool. Unfortunately, the doctor who I had, who was an absolute beep, shall we say, He hadn't actually explained my symptoms to this doctor on call at the Walton Centre. So they said that it was nothing, and that, you know, to contact my consultant, who was on holiday at that point. He ended up coming back, but I think someone ended up emailing him or speaking to the secretary. The main appointment for me to see in 6 weeks. At this point, I was bedbound. I couldn't move my legs, mainly because I had no balance whatsoever at this point. I kept leaning to the left. Everything was going bad. My head, I could not keep up anymore. So everything had got drastically worse. I ended up having to email my consultant myself and explain the symptoms. He was kind of mortified. "Excuse me, Millie. All she wants is this darn ball." Anyways, find it. Excuse me. Yeah, so I ended up emailing him myself, and he was mortified that I'd been left so long. Long story short, I ended up going there, and after a few hours with this other doctor, I was just absolutely in tears. But by the time I'd actually got to the Walton Centre, it had been 9 weeks, and he was so angry. He was not happy that I was left this long, that he hadn't been contacted, his team. Nothing was done the way that it should have been done. He said that we're going to try and sort this out, but he'd seen the MRI, but yet nothing had changed on this scan, so it was very difficult to know what was going on. Even he was a bit baffled at this point. He knew something was going on, but didn't know what. I had MRI, I had CT of my neck, no, of my head at this point. I had all my shunts checked, everything was coming back clear, which you think would be a good thing, but in this, it wasn't a good thing. However, then a spinal surgeon, somebody said about speaking to a spinal surgeon. So they had something called an MDT, which is like a big meeting where all the kind of doctors get together, and they do that once a week on a Monday. So they'd actually arranged this MDT with both of them. So it was for neurological and spinal. So there was 2 MDT meetings going on. I'm so glad that happened, because this is when things really started to kick in motion. Then my other consultant, which I now have, Mr. Clark, suggested that it could be something. It was obviously to do with my neck, that possibly it could have been cervical or cervical, whatever you call it, instability. He then decided, as his opinion thought it was. My consultant didn't know if it was that, but he didn't think of the actual structure of the neck. Oh dear, sorry, balance of my arms. So they ended up doing an x-ray of an extension and flexion x-ray, which then showed that I had quite a severe curvature of the neck, but it had got worse over the couple of years. So obviously the last couple of months it obviously deteriorated. My consultant said, like, obviously he's not like a spinal specialist really in terms of the structure. He did was more the CSF flow. So, but he knew I had like traffic. He knew I had like cervical problems, but he didn't know it was that kind of thing. Anyways, I was then diagnosed with cervical kyphosis. Just the long list of things added to it. What cervical kyphosis is a curvature of the neck. Usually our necks go in like a natural C shape. Mine ended up going the complete opposite way, but bent in I can't remember what the degree he said it was, but he said it was quite a severe curvature. He then decided to do something called an ACDF, where they put plating in and try and straighten up the neck. And unfortunately, I didn't know this, but it takes a good couple of months if you have a 1 level to fuse, which is what I'm currently suffering at the minute. So a couple months from this operation, they ended up doing a 4 level ACDF, which was pretty much unheard of at that point. But it was the way they'd done it, which was kind of complicated. But so I ended up having this operation. I'll show you my neat looking scar. Oh, excuse me. So that's where I had it done. Okay, so I'm being a bit naughty. It feels like 100 degrees outside. It's not, it's like 24. So I meant to wear a lovely collar, which I will now show you. I meant to wear it, but again, it's so hot out here. I cannot physically wear it right now. So I'm not doing a lot of kind of like bending. I'm doing quite well in terms of recovery. The only thing I did find after the operation, I had severe pain in my neck. Honestly, I mean neck, shoulders. Oh, I was screaming, I was crying. Oh, it was unbelievable. So by the time I'd had the operation and recovered, it was like 3 months. I've never known anything like it. Neither was my consultant. He was just appalled by the behaviour of these hospitals. But it was not the hospitals, it was more like the doctor. I'm not blaming it. The NHS are amazing. I wouldn't know what where I'd be without them. I cannot keep this thing straight. I do apologise. So bad. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at the minute. I had this operation, it was horrendous. They do a lot of the ACDF operations actually, if you've had one before. But this one's had quite a multi-level. Okay, so the reason why I got it is, so I had a lot of laminectomies in the last couple of years, the last sort of 8 years. I don't know how many. I've had way too many that I can count of. And my consultant, Mr. Clark, had never seen anyone with that many laminectomies done before. So unfortunately I are seeing, oh my god, I have to show this. Okay, I'll tell you this and I'll tell you. Yeah, I've had like multi-laminectomies, which has caused the cervical kyphosis. Oh, I'm gonna have to show you what my dog's doing. It's so funny. I'm hoping you can see this when I turn it round. She's got literally like a tree. I'm gonna try and turn around. Oh dear, nearly fell over. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can get her in the shot. Are you seeing this? It's honestly, I live with a mental dog. Millie. Yeah, that's what I have to live with. Anyways, yeah, so I'm recovering well. The downfall is I can't bend. Because I've been fused so much, I can't actually bend my neck. And when I bend down, I fall over because my balance is still really poor because of like what they've done to the neck. I don't know whether that's my consultant's not sure whether that will come back, just because he knows how much I'm fused. So I've kind of been trying to bend and see if I can go back to the job that I absolutely love doing. So I'm really hoping at this point, yeah, that I can go back to that, because otherwise. But I don't know, I'm still hoping that I'll be able to do that kind of thing. It's just a matter of recovering, really. This lighting's so bad. Yeah. So this video is going on for like 17 minutes. I'm hoping I can like chop this down a bit. Yeah, so I do apologise for the really long, but that's kind of where I'm at the minute. I'm going to try and do a couple of vlogs. I really do like vlogging and do a lot of things. I've been doing a lot of health videos lately, but I kind of want to do like baking stuff and fun things, a bit more upbeat stuff. But yeah, if you're dealing with kyphosis or any chronic illness of any kind, then honestly, I know this is really cliche, but hold on, it does get better. But I went through the stage of like, I was so angry with everything and everybody, that you need to kind of, the ones that are there helping you, like my partner, I would blame him all the time, but they're there to help you, and it might not seem it, or like they understand, but they're struggling as well. And just try and help, you know, like just try and do little things every day. Like I have little goals. So one of my goals at the minute is to try and walk a bit more every day, even if it's just getting outside in the garden. Luckily, which is a good news, the good thing is after the operation we had moved into this beautiful home. I don't know if you can see it behind me, and like a big garden, which I'm really happy with. I don't know, but obviously we've gone through a lot past 8 years. We've lived in caravans and all sorts, but we're kind of in a good place, and I'm quite happy. Apart from this neck business, as you can see, it's every day is different. Actually this morning I had quite a bad morning in terms of pain. I did a bit more walking yesterday than I probably should have done, and I do need to wear my collar more, honestly, but it's so flipping hot that I cannot do it when it's so hot. And luckily the consultant understands, but he does want me to wear it, so I need to learn to wear a bit more if I want to heal properly. But that's kind of it, really. I don't know what else more to say, but if you're going through something bad, give yourself a break. Like, you are going through a horrible time, let people help you, but don't rely on it too much. Like, try and do things for yourself, just little things. Learn, like, obviously do something you really enjoy doing. So I kind of like doing makeup. I've done a bit of a Barbie look today, but I'm trying to learn to do makeup a bit more, and baking, that to my two loved. Just think of something. And also right now I want you to think of something that you like about yourself, just one thing, and hold on to that, because we're so quick to like say what we hate about ourselves. Oh, we're ugly, we're fat. I'm constantly always telling myself that, but just think of something that you really love about yourself, and every day think of something positive that you can say, and just stick with that, because you are a good person. There's good in everybody. So I'm kind of going to end the video here, and if there's another health video that you want me to do, if there's any questions you want to ask, I promise I will reply this time and not be ignorant, ignoring everybody. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the minute. So if people have gone through sort of 4 magnum decompressions and laminectomies, I know how hard it is, but just give yourself some time. That's all I can say. So from me, and I'm going to show you this dog from me and Millie. Hi Millie. Oh no, I've done it wrong. Hello. Ah, where is she? Ah! Oh my god, what am I doing? Anyways, oh, there she is. Anyways, from me and Millie, goodbye.